Hey, Dan here, enjoying one of the many beautiful parks in Valencia. If this city has any flaws, the amount of parks is definitely not one of them. And today, this video is inspired by a question I was just about to ask a friend of mine, and it made me think about the topic in the big picture. And I was going to ask a friend, it sounds like a ridiculous question actually, as a so-called writer. So I was going to ask her, how do you learn to be an author? And I'm not talking about writing nonfiction books, but like, how do you learn to be a novelist and tell stories? Because it's something that I'm interested in pursuing more. And to be honest, I'm a little stuck in terms of where to start. Do I start researching story structures? Do I just read a lot of novels? Do I take some courses? And it made me think about this aspect of learning in general. You know, one of the things for ENFPs is we tend to learn things quite quickly. We pick things up, we learn quickly, then we often get bored and move on, sometimes not so much. And it means sometimes we don't actually realize how much effort and time people put into learning something and mastering something. And this also means that sometimes we see someone doing something we want to do, and we see how good they are at it, and we get discouraged because we say, hey, look how great this speaker is, look how great this author is, look how incredible this painter is. I'm so far from that, how could I even get there? I shouldn't start, right? This is common with a lot of people, where we see someone that is so far ahead, and we compare ourselves now with where they are at after years and years of practice, and we say, wow, I could never be that. I remember thinking this when I was younger and I saw a speaker, and they gave an hour-long presentation and it was polished and it was good and it was interesting. I'm like, wow, I don't know if I could ever do that. And then it occurred to me that this person has been giving this speech probably for 5 years. Of course it's going to be really good. Of course it's going to be really polished. They've been doing the same thing probably every day for 5 years. Of course, right? That's not where you start from. That's not how you learn. And it's really important to keep this in mind when you're thinking about, say, changing careers, starting a creative pursuit, starting your own business, that where you're starting from is where most people started from. And then they went through the effort of learning, of developing, of trying and failing and all these ups and downs, and then eventually they got really good at something. Now, that's not to say you can get good at anything. We tend to have some natural talents that we can grow and build on, and some stuff we're just not great on. For instance, I will never be good at memorization. I can improvise a video. I've been in an improv comedy group. Put me on stage in the moment, under pressure, and I will find the words. Ask me, and I'm not kidding here, to memorize a 30-second script for a video, and it will take up an entire afternoon. That's how I am. So, maybe there's some tricks to learn for memorization, but it's probably worth noting that, I have a certain kind of mind, and we all have different talents that are more natural. But when you're deciding if you should take on a new pursuit, you don't want to find yourself comparing to others' outsides. A book I wrote many years ago in Confidence, I have a chapter on this. It says, never compare your insides to someone else's outsides. Meaning, you see your weaknesses, your insecurities, you see how bad you are at something maybe you're just starting with. And then you naturally compare yourself to other people's Instagrams, YouTube videos, speeches on stage, published books, and say, look at this difference. But yeah, you're comparing their best versus your worst. You're also comparing what other people show. So if you go to a party, a lot of people, they put on a presentation, they've dressed their best, they're talking about things that make them sound good, etc. They're not showing up, unless they're maybe me or some other crazy ENFP, they're not showing up to a party discussing all their insecurities and vulnerabilities and mistakes. They're discussing their successes and trying to impress other people. And if you compare what you know about yourself inside to their outside presentation, you're always going to feel a lot worse about yourself. So the takeaway here is, if there's something that you're thinking of pursuing, the first step is to get a sense of what it should look like when you're starting out, how to learn that thing, what a beginner's work looks like, and how you can start developing your talent there. And then getting a sense of, is this something that I will actually enjoy doing on a day-to-day? And do I have perhaps some of the natural talent to become really good in this, or just to really enjoy it and enjoy the process. And don't get caught up looking at people who are leaps and bounds ahead of you, who are so far down their journey that it's going to be a really unfair comparison point. The other thing is to realize is that almost everything can be learned, whether it is how you speak, how you write, any kind of job, technical skills, whatever it is. There's definitely things that some of us are bad at and some of us are good at, but you can ultimately learn just about anything. So you've got to realize that and keep the doors open and say, hey, I'm free to pursue just about anything I want. And then with that mindset of abundance, of knowing that you can do just about anything, except, accounting, Excel work, and that kind of stuff. I'm just kidding, actually. We can be just fine at that. But knowing that you can take on just about anything you want, then you can decide what it is where you think you have the highest chance of both enjoying and succeeding in. All right, that's me for today. I'll see you in the next video soon.